Thank you, Ansel. Thank you, Zara. Assalamu alaikum. And Ramadan Mubarak to everyone. Thank you for being here today, and I'm very sorry if we've kept some of you waiting because we were doing some discussions upstairs and answering a number of questions, which I'm very happy to deal with. Because we live in interesting and difficult times. There is, let's be blunt about it, a rise of racism within our society. There is a rise in Islamophobia and Islamophobic attacks, and the incident outside Seven Kings Mosque is an example of the sense of fear there is within the community. What happened in Christchurch in New Zealand was far-right racists attacked wholly innocent people going to Friday prayers. 50 died. The response of Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, was, I think, very good. She went straight to both mosques to express her solidarity with the community, covered herself to do so, to show understanding of the community, and said she was proud of the diversity of New Zealand as a country. And I went to the New Zealand High Commission to express my sympathy and solidarity with them. In my own community, 2 years ago, Makram Ali was killed on the road outside my house. A far-right racist drove into the crowd of people coming home from prayers. Absolutely disgusting and disgraceful. The response of the local community was amazing. We asked everyone to come and stand in solidarity with him, his family, and with the mosques in the area. And they all came, from every faith and those with no particular faith. It was Muslims, it was Jewish people, it was Christians, it was Hindu people, it was Buddhists, all came. Because they were making a declaration about the kind of country we are and the kind of country we want to be, where people can practice their faith, can speak freely, and will not be frightened and intimidated by racist language or racist attacks. The only answer to these people is to stand up in unity together, and that's exactly what we're doing in this election campaign. We are not going down the road of blaming minorities, which some people are doing. We're instead uniting people, because that is the only way forward. You can go into any community and create division. You can go into any community and blame a minority for something, be they migrant workers, be they refugees, be they any religious minority. All you've done is created the poison of hatred, and from that poisonous well, others will drink in the future. It's up to us to give a different message and bring people together. So in this holy month of Ramadan, I want to say thank you to the Muslim community of Britain for the enormous contribution made to our communities and our society, for the sense of charity and support you give to homeless people, to people going through stress in their lives, and for the way in which you responded to what happened at Grenfell and the floods that happened in the northwest of England. The way in which the community comes together to support others, because at its heart, Islam is actually about charity. And so let's stand together and be proud of what's done and proud of what's achieved, particularly in this particular month. Many of you have raised many other questions, and I absolutely endorse everything that Ansel said about Kashmir, the concerns that people have who come from Kashmir, and you'll be aware that our election manifesto, which we produced for the 2017 election, was the first manifesto ever in British history to even talk about Kashmir, and that's why it was in there, because I believe very passionately in the rights of people to their own self-expression and their own identity, and that's why it was in there. Coming to this... Coming here to Birmingham Central Mosque is a real privilege to me to be able to be here, because I've never been here before, and I'm delighted to come, and thank you for the welcome you've given me because of the work and the contribution that you make. But it's also about what we want for the future in our society. The faith of Islam is one of charity, of inclusion, and of helping young people to get through all the problems and difficulties that they have in life. But it's also about what we do as a society and a community for young people. I'm fed up with an education system that's so short of money that head teachers have to collect at the school gates in order to keep the school running. I'm fed up with an education system that has to charge for special things like music education and art and school visits, and has to charge for after-school activities. All of that is very bad, and it means that the poorer children lose out and those that have got slightly wealthier parents get the advantages. I don't want to live in a society where your education achievements are measured by the wealth of your parents. I want to live in a society where we all value education for what it is, the ability to learn and the right to know and the right to be able to achieve your full potential in society. That's why we will change the taxation system in Britain. We will ask the richest to pay more so that we can ensure every child in primary school gets a meal, every child in primary school gets music and art education as well as all the other things they need, and that every child from 2 to 4 gets a free nursery place. And later on in life, when they go on to college, I want vocational education apprentices to be just as valuable as a university education, and take away the fees from university education so we're not saddling our young people with debts of up to £50,000 just because they wanted to get an education. It's about the world we want to live in, and I'm very determined that we achieve that. So as we go through this whole process of negotiations over Brexit and what comes out of that, I simply say this: however people voted in 2016 is what they did at that time. We cannot typecast people on what they did 3 years ago. But nobody voted to lose their job, nobody voted to have lower quality food, nobody voted for this country to become an offshore tax haven. They voted the way they did because that's what they felt at that time. Our demand is that we have a good trading relationship with Europe, that we maintain those rights, and that we do not fall behind European standards. And at the end of it, we're quite prepared to have a vote to decide whether that's the way forward or not. But at the moment, we're still trying to persuade the government to actually see sense and look intelligently at this problem, bringing people together. That is what we are trying to do, and what I'm absolutely determined to achieve. Because societies coming together achieve the most. Societies coming together can confront the great problems of the world: global warming, environmental destruction, and look at the refugee crisis as of human beings who've got into a bad place through no fault of their own. I don't see refugees as a threat. I don't see refugees as something I should be fearful of. I see it the way you do. They're human beings who we must reach out the hand of friendship, support and charity to. Because if we don't, our world becomes more dangerous and more divided. The wars that we've seen over the past 15 years have come from human rights abuse, have come from environmental degradation, have come from the greed for oil and other resources. The only way forward for all of us on this planet is respect, is human rights, is sustainability, is working together. That surely is the message that you give through your faith during Ramadan, and the message you give at all other times of the year. I thank you for what you do. Thank you for the huge support you give to many Muslim charities, helping people in the most difficult circumstances around the world, and helping people who, through no fault of their own, have got into difficulties in this country and end up homeless or rough sleeping. A society that helps each other has got to be the right way forward. Thank you very much for inviting me here today. Thank you very much for allowing me to share a few thoughts with you. And can I come again? Yes. Assalamu alaikum.